supposed to open something else up.
I'm gonna work on my fantasy football lineup.
Ah.
Figured out.
Yes.
Is the big white box her?
We're live right now. Yes.
I'll put away my phone.
So a little bit of a delay, which is fine. And edit that. Deal with that stuff later. Change that to public. Hit done there. And
This is thrilling.
this is scary. That's what this is. Because I'm pretty sure it's set up right. That's the mic. So you see the Samson mic down there.
It is working.
Audio's coming through there. So now the real question is, will CA Knuble be able to join in on the Zoom and get that there? So if it's set up right.
I think she should just be a white box.
That was just the white box.
She's a ghost.
All right, well, we ended up starting anyway, so let's just roll with it.
Yeah.
Oop, now we're live. See?
Oh, all right. Yeah, that's good.
This is like a whole studio section thing going on. We got pop-ups showing up here and there. Welcome to the other podcast. I'm Andre Davis.
I am Pat.
And we're hosting the other podcast, a show where we get together and about once a week have a conversation. This week we actually have a guest who we don't know. Neither of us have met before. And she should be coming on at 6:15. I had started setting stuff up early at 6 to try to be prepared because, as you can see, we've got a whole like cool look going on. And cool, you use loosely. I put some effort into it. All right. So this is an experiment, a milestone for the other podcast.
That's right.
On a couple levels. A, the technology that's being put forth to you, you're welcome. And B, we have our first female guest.
And our first guest that neither of us have actually met before.
Yeah, and she has, she's a comedian. You know what, I'll let her go ahead and talk about herself.
Yep.
She's going to do it better than I can. So, but while we're talking about guests.
Yes.
I have been playing around on Facebook, and that's where I've been getting these guests.
Yeah.
And I say guests plural because there's like 3 or 4 different people that have said that they want to be on the show now. I sent you a text.
Yes, I saw one of them.
That one may be really interesting. A medium.
That actually caught my wife's attention. She was like, "Oh, she's really into that kind of thing." So not like that she like goes to mediums or anything like that, but she always has been somewhat fascinated by the subject. So that one. She actually once worked for a pet medium. It was like a high school thing, I think, where she had to do community service, and so she was doing community service at this pet shelter / vet or something. And then one day while she was there, she could hear the woman in the other room doing like an over the phone like medium thing where she was contacting somebody's deceased dog or something like that, and so she realized it was like a pet medium. Yep.
So she didn't know that it was
pet. She did not know when she signed up to do it, and it was a pet medium who did her work over the phone.
That's pretty cool. Is that where she now? Did she come up with the band name Extra Medium before or after?
Yeah, I don't think that has anything to do with actual mediums. I think she just.
I mean, because that has a whole.
It could be like extra medium. Like they are the awesomest medium they can not only contact human spirits, but they can contact animal spirits, and they don't even need to be in the room with the person. They can do it over the phone.
Yeah, that's a living.
Yeah.
Did she relay what that conversation was like, or did she just kind of?
I don't remember if she remembers any of the details from it. I think she was just more the shock of like, oh, that's what this place is. And she was in high school, so I think it's kind of like,
yeah.
She wasn't going to be like, hey,
tell
I
me
just
more.
overheard this conversation. I want to know more about it. But anyway, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, not many people can say they have. You've had a lot of jobs, but you haven't like worked for a pet.
No, I don't think I've worked for any psychics.
Well, you could have. You just didn't know about it.
This is true. Yeah, they didn't tell me if they were.
But if they did, they should contact us if they were
Yes.
psychics, and we'll have them on the show.
All about it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Maybe they won't be the first. So I wanted to share. I texted you that.
Yeah.
And then I got this one was an interesting one, which I was really just an email came out of the blue, but I think they must have seen it on seen my post on Facebook and the podcast group, but somebody representing. Have you seen? Did you ever watch Mystery Science Theater 3000?
Yes.
So you must have seen The Hand of Manos.
I'm not sure that I have.
I think it was like the first one they did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen bits and pieces back when it used to be on Comedy Central. I haven't like watched the entire
whole thing
Right,
through.
yeah.
It's really a movie. But yeah, the woman who played the little girl in it apparently is looking to be on podcasts and stuff. So this guy's representing, and I had no idea. I mean, it makes sense, but there are agents for.
Do these agents do any like looking into the podcast? Because, I mean, I don't want to sell us short or anything, but right now, like I think we produce wonderful content, but it's not. Our audience is still growing. And
You have 11 subscribers, Pat. And that's just subscribers. So those are the people that are all in.
Well, yes.
Who knows how many people we have?
Right.
Did I tell you about? So this channel has 3,000 something views now.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, 2,700 of them are from a
Bubba.
short. No, that's 44 of them. 2,700 or so are from a short that I took at the Eagles game, and all it was of the woman in front of me.
Yeah.
She was filming something on her phone, and I was just kind of going through. I was like, and so I filmed her phone too. 2,700 views on that one. So that's all you need, I guess. To get the hits.
Yeah. So we need to like we could kind of do like the Nathan for You thing and like create some viral video, like stage some viral videos, and to get us some.
What kind of staging do we want to do?
Can we recreate a pig saving a goat? Is that taken?
I don't. Yeah, I think that's been done, and I don't know if but it was a while ago.
Yeah.
So you can go ahead and do it again.
Yeah. We'll have to put some thought into.
And I have a feeling that if Nathan Fielder got like bored or something, he'd just come and sue us for that.
Yeah.
Just for his own content at that point.
Yeah. Maybe we can write to him and see if he'll come help us out.
That's not a bad
You never
idea.
know. Maybe if he's really bored.
Yeah. Has he ever been to Maine? I wonder.
I don't know.
We could take him on a tour of Maine, see the lighthouses.
He does seem like a guy who's really into lighthouses, so I'm sure he'd be. It's a beautiful lighthouse. I'm glad it came to Maine.
Lighthouse Week was a couple weeks ago.
It was a couple weeks ago, yeah.
Did you say you had gone, or?
No, I did not go.
No.
We were going to go on a big hike up in Rockland, and then Andrea read that it was Lighthouse Week, and we thought, maybe we should go to Rockland on Lighthouse Week.
Oh, yeah, because of the people.
Traffic and stuff. So
I wonder if it was popular.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I just heard it on the radio.
When I heard it was Lighthouse Week, I decided I was going to avoid all lighthouses.
Stay away from the lighthouses.
I have nothing against lighthouses. I'm actually a big fan. I think lighthouses serve an important purpose. So I don't ever think of anti-lighthouse, but
it's a good thing you're not running for governor or anything. What about Lobster Week? Did you partake in?
No, that I would actually like to partake in. I like lobster.
Have you looked at the prices lately?
No.
I haven't seen it, but like the last time I looked was maybe a month ago when they were way up there.
Yeah.
And then I heard about the lobster week, and I was like, that's horrible timing if the lobster prices are still way. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't looked. At Market Basket, they have, or at least when I was looking, they had like lobsters in packaging for in there. I don't. They must have been cooked, I assume.
Yeah.
In
like
the
a
show.
full lobster.
Yeah.
Well, that was because that was the thing. Where did you see where Jay's oyster bar was telling people to boycott Market Basket? No, not Market Basket. Sorry, that was wrong grocery store.
Okay.
Forget that. Let's cut that out.
Okay.
It was Whole Foods. They wanted people to boycott Whole Foods because they weren't selling live lobsters anymore.
Oh, okay.
But apparently that had happened like a very long time ago, and so people were like, why are they
now bringing it up?
Yeah.
Was it around Lobster Week?
No, it was because they've had all that stuff in the news about regulations on the lobster industry because of the whales, and also they just added lobsters to the red list. Is that what it is? Where it was like that it's the fishing of them is harming the whale population, so they're trying to tell people like not to eat it and stuff. So, but of course it's a huge industry in Maine. So
right. What's your stance on the whaling?
I mean, I don't know.
See, I only know what I've heard in the news and stuff, so who knows how accurate that stuff is. You hear the one side that says it's not really an issue. There was, I think, one injury over the past however many years, or death, or whatever
Of the
case
whales?
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plenty of injuries and deaths of the lobsters. Plenty of those. But, but of the whales, so, I mean, if that's accurate, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But if it's, I feel like I would have heard more about this in the past over the years if it were a bigger issue.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't subscribe to Fisherman Times or anything like that.
Either way, we're going to have either lobstermen or environmentalists picketing outside of your house by this time.
Hey, any publicity is good publicity. That's what I always say.
That's right.
I don't always say that. So I'm going to be on a podcast guesting a Toast and a Tale, which is a really interesting podcast. It's basically what we wanted to do and have not really accomplished in the sense of like getting other people on.
Yeah.
So it's this woman who she invites people on, and she sent me a list of 10 questions, and I went through and was answering them this morning, and that's what we're going to talk about on the podcast. But as I was doing it, like one of the things she had requested, like the only thing she requested, was a list of places that you can find me online and all that stuff. So I've got a link that I had set up on my website that's literally a list of all the places that you can find me.
Yeah.
And have you seen it?
Yes.
Yeah. Where's Andre?
Yeah.
I'm pretty proud of that.
Yeah.
But as I was going through that, I'm like, Jesus, I just throw myself out there apparently. But I completely forgot about my Skateboard Cowboy books.
Oh yeah.
I had to add those to the list.
Yeah, that's right.
But
do you tell about the laundry detergent business? And
I did not. I
yeah,
completely forgot about
you
that.
have a lot of things going. And your the new one we came up with the knitted tank tops with holes for your nipples.
Yeah, the nipple free.
Andrea, I told Andrea about that. She was all on board. She thinks we could definitely make a lot of money on those.
Speaking of which, this is not nipple free, but this is my sweet.
That is awesome.
Crocheted.
Needs like belt loops. He needs a little belt loop so you can like do a tie around it.
Yeah, well, like I said, I just do this, and then I'll take. I have a rope.
She could crochet like a little belt for it, though.
She could.
She
could. If I asked her, I'm sure
cozy.
she would. It is. It's really nice.
Yeah.
I like to do it without the shirt on because it's like nice and soft.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't subject the viewers to that though. Or you sitting topless next to you like the good old beard eye days.
So she wants a list of all the things all the places you can be found online. I thought you were going to say she wanted like naked pics, or, like money or something.
No. It was the first email exchange.
So you just go on then and talk about who you are and your life and your story kind of thing?
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, that's essentially kind of what we talked about.
Yep.
And still maybe what we do sometimes. So
I really like her format of organization. It's really organized.
So we're gonna copy her podcast. We're gonna steal her idea.
I got the list of questions right there. So
great.
maybe we'll just throw them out to CA Canoodle.
Yeah.
I gotta maybe.
Maybe I should just ask you those same questions first, and then
Ooh,
we're good.
That would be a good idea. We could run it through. Actually, you want to do that?
Give you practice. It'll
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Or I'll ask you the questions. Let me interview you. Yeah, because we haven't had that yet.
I know. That was like the whole starting vision of the thing.
Let's do that, because that was supposed to be like our next episode 14 episodes ago.
That, and we still haven't had the one where we actually talk about like what are some ideas we can do for episodes.
Yeah.
Which is one of the things that was on our list forever. But
that is absolutely correct too.
You
know what? Let me check this. Did she ever come on? I don't think so. I would have seen a little notice or something, wouldn't I have? No, it's just me. It's just me. And I just wrote that. Like it? Sent.
This is one of the many moments that we have where our viewers get to watch us like do something very boring. Like,
this is not boring. What are you talking about? All right. So Pat, how are you?
Oh, you're doing the questions?
Yeah,
yeah. I am okay. Feeling a little busy. I've been running from place to place this afternoon, but I am good now that I'm here, ready to go.
Nice, yeah. Nice. Hold on, I just wanted to see if there was any sort of... where can we find you online?
You can find me on the other podcast. That is pretty much the only place I exist online.
So tell me about this other podcast. What is that?
It's a podcast that I do with my friend Andre. And we basically go on and talk about just about anything. It's just sort of an open conversation. We often have, some topics that we're thinking about discussing, and then it usually veers totally off in another direction.
Wow.
We occasionally have guests that join us, but yeah, we're on episode 16, I think.
That sounds like a lot of fun. So how long have you been doing that? You said episode 16?
Is that how she talks when she asks the questions?
No, I don't know. I haven't. I mean, this is just me.
So it started as a project over really back in the springtime. My friend and I had sort of lost touch. We hadn't seen each other for a while, and we got together and talked about wanting to do something creative together. He does a lot of creative things, creating music, doing writing, a lot of different projects, and I had often thought about wanting to write or do something as well, and so I threw out the idea of let's do something creative. He came up with the idea of a podcast, and really what got me interested in it is just the opportunity to sort of reconnect and have kind of like a shared human experience, just be talking about our experiences, our lives, our thoughts on things, and with our guests as well.
I like that. I like that idea of a human experience. So you ready to get right into the questions?
I thought we were already
yeah, questions. I guess we kind of were. All right, so let's start with an official question here. See, we really got to work on this.
Yes.
This is what this practice is all about.
What time is she coming on, by the way?
And it's supposed to be 6:15, but that's fine.
Maybe she stood us up. That's all right.
That's fine. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time I've been stood up by somebody. Anybody?
I've never been stood up.
I think so we were talking after the podcast with Bubba.
Did you figure out who I was talking about?
I think I figured out who you were talking about. It's the only person I can think of, and I can't remember that person's name. So
she was clearly somebody who was very special.
See, now you've narrowed down who we were talking about, what we were talking about. I was trying to keep it kind of ambiguous, Pat.
By saying that person?
That person, okay. See? Use those pronouns.
All
right, round one.
All right.
Who are you, and what 3 words would you use to describe yourself?
Oh. Those are the kind of questions you had to answer. I am Patrick. I think I said that.
Okay.
No, what words would I use to describe myself? I don't know. This probably shouldn't be that hard, right?
Can I throw some words out?
Sure.
All right. I will say, I want to say.
See, you can't come up with words to describe me either.
See, this is
I have
weird.
an enigma. So one of the things when we were talking about doing this, and I was like, okay, what questions would I ask Andre? I was coming up with some questions, like some like fun, some like personal, but also some like one of them was going to be, how would you describe me? I'd love to know your honest opinion of me, because one of the things that keeps happening on here is I'm like, so this is what I think of you, and you never do the same thing to me. Which, so anyway, yeah. So it's
I would describe you. So what I like about you, Pat. This is I feel like I'm back. So I told you I'm like taking intimacy like sessions with like. Did I mention that before?
You did not tell me you're doing intimacy.
I'm doing that. So I'm really working on
your intimacy.
Yeah, like
opening yourself up to
yeah.
More okay.
Yeah, it's so this past week is kind of a similar kind of experience where it's like the appreciation type thing. How do you appreciate people, and how do you like to be appreciated, and all that stuff.
Okay.
So this is like all of a sudden, hey, you just do it now.
Yeah, it puts you on the spot.
Yeah. So let's see. So I think when I think of you, I think of caring, I guess would be the word.
I guess you're caring.
I mean, like, I don't know how to.
Well, so here's the thing.
Human. That would like you.
Okay.
Like you are a very human person. Like you have humanity and you respect.
I'm a human.
You like anytime. It's kind of like anytime like we talk about anything that's like I don't know like rights or like those types of things.
Yep.
I could always expect you to have like a compassionate answer.
Okay.
Or a compassionate response versus like just hardcore like one side or the other.
Yeah.
And your compassionate responses aren't like over the top, like bleeding heart liberal, if you were to describe it that way. I mean, they're reasonable answers and reasonable opinions that I think come from a very human place. So human would be one thing I would say. I love your sense of humor. Like I think we've always got along like with the stuff that we've done together.
Yep.
And that sense of humor, I don't even know how to describe it. Like it's not a dry sense of humor, and it's not necessarily an absurd sense of humor. It's a balanced sense of humor.
Okay.
I think that's where it lies. And I'm big on comparisons and like having to do with that. So if I were to compare you to like Jeff Martin's sense of humor back in high school. Yes. I don't know what his sense of humor is now, but back in high school, like his was more of like and I fell along with that too in some of the cases. Like it's very like cruel sense of humor.
Yeah.
Versus and Jeff Martin, if by any chance you're watching this, sorry, but at the expense of others versus yours, which goes back to that human characteristic, I think. It was never at the expense of others, and well, not never, but I feel like when it was at the expense of others, there was a guilt that you expressed with it and stuff, and there was always some sort of repentance to be made. So that goes back to that human quality.
Okay.
And then we have lost touch like over the years and stuff. So it's always been. And I don't know what it is about you that drives that necessarily, because I wouldn't say that I've ever connected with you in the sense of like your determination or your own personal goals or anything like that. But clearly, like there is something that drives you, because if you look at your body, it's a wonderland. But like growing up, we went to high school together, we went to college together, and I know what your eating habits were and what your lifestyle habits were, and it definitely did not provide you the body that you have now. I mean,
well, and this is a more recent development, last few years kind of working on this. So, all right, let me respond to some of the things you said. If you had asked me, what I probably would have said is, I think I have a pretty good sense of humor. So that probably would have been something I would say, but I also don't feel like my sense of humor is something that most people would say about me. I think that same thing with, I do think I'm somebody who's pretty caring, and I try to live my life in a way that is about not necessarily putting other people first, because I think a lot of times can be pretty selfish myself, but I try to treat other people in a good way. I try to help other people when I can. I'm a teacher. Like I do a lot of my life is essentially working with others. I care very, very deeply about like my colleagues and, putting them in place, working well with them and putting in places for them to succeed and collaboration. Like, so I do feel like I'm very people oriented, but at the same time, probably one of the biggest things that's been kind of like a driving thing about me, or a defining thing about me, I should say, is I feel like I really am disconnected from most people. Like, I'm pretty shy. I have a ton of anxiety around like just social situations in general, and I think probably a lot of anxiety, or I have like that imposter syndrome of like, I don't think I'm good at things. I don't think I'm, so I have, I guess it would essentially be a lot of self-esteem type things. So like, I feel like growing up, I didn't have a ton of friends. I had some people that I have had close relationships with, like you. In high school, there was a small group of us that I felt like I was pretty close to. I feel like, in college, we went to college together. Most of those people that we went to college with, I immediately had zero contact with as soon as I left school. They were more like they were like friends, friendly acquaintances sort of thing, but not super close. And a lot of that's on me because I wasn't very good about putting myself, like being my true self around people. I was much more like,
right.
Inside my own head when it came to socializing. So going back to what you're saying, like funny, I think I'm pretty funny. One of the reasons we get along so well is I think our sense of humor meshes pretty well. Certainly with my wife, like we crack each other up all the time, but I don't let everybody see that sense of humor because I don't always feel comfortable enough in those kind of situations. Same thing with like caring. I think a lot of people, their initial view of me is that I'm probably pretty standoffish and or kind of withdrawn, or I always get people asking me, are you mad about something? And I get that from my mom because she's got like that resting bitch face kind of thing, like mad face, but like I'm happy, I'm like fine, but I just think I what I put out there isn't always what I am inside. And so those are a lot of the things that and so like talking about how we lost touch, like we were really close back in the day, we were good friends. But I drifted apart from almost all my friends after college, and a lot of that was because, I'd think, oh well, they probably don't even want to hang out with me, or they're gonna want, it wasn't so much not interest in hanging out with people, it was just not feeling confident in reaching out to people and wanting to do things, or just thinking people don't enjoy my company, that kind of stuff.
Right.
So a lot of that, I think is not, I'm not like sitting there like, oh, I'm blaming myself. It's just that's who I was, and so I'm trying to be better about that. But I do think I'm glad that you see those things in me, because you're somebody that I would hope would see that I have a good sense of humor, that I am caring about people and thoughtful about people. And you said I'm not a bleeding heart liberal, but I am fairly, leaning in that way because I do care about others and want what's best for others. The other thing I think I'd add is probably pretty thoughtful. Like I try to see multiple sides of an issue, and I try to, really think things through, whether it's like a problem at work or just any of the issues, we bring up on here, the lobster and whale situation, anything like that. I try to, not jump to one side and just attack. I want to, find out as much as I can about it and be thoughtful about it. So.
And that's why I don't think you're the bleeding heart liberal.
I know what you mean. And I'm not right now, the way things are, we got people on both sides who can't seek middle ground or aren't interested in hearing either side or that sort of thing, right? So
it turns into a debate every time.
Yeah,
that's a very. I like. Thank you for sharing all of that. Yeah, it's kind of interesting when you talk about the not reaching out to others, or I kind of go through the same thing, or have gone through the same thing, where just kind of. You want to go out, or I want to go out and like hang out with people, and it's like, how do if I call somebody, like, are they gonna like want to do anything,
right? Exactly,
or not do anything? And then I kind of like sit and wait, and I'm like with Facebook. I was just thinking about that today, like I put posts and stuff on Facebook every now and again, a lot, and it's funny because I'm the type of person who like. Doesn't need validation, but really like wants that. And I'm looking for the likes or whatever, and so I'm like, How has nobody seen this? It's like, no. But then I'll see like likes on different ones that I'm just like, oh, well, why would anybody like this?
Yeah, why?
It's like, but I know that people are seeing those things because like Vinny's asked me about stuff afterwards, like, oh, I saw that post on blah blah blah.
Well, and I keep telling you, I see your stuff. I just so you know, I have never once liked anything on Facebook. The only time I've ever, I think, left a comment on Facebook was one of our mutual friends, and it had something to do with the election, and then he blocked me from being a friend anymore. So my experiences with Facebook are not very positive. So
I just miss being able to poke people on Facebook.
Yes.
That was a good time.
Yeah.
Bring that back, Facebook. Mark, calling out to you. Zuckerberg, not Mark any other, but what other Mark would I be talking about? Haskell?
Maybe.
Yes, Zuckerberg.
And one of the things that goes along with that too, so like when we got done college, I was almost immediately, I went back up to school for a while, but then I think you guys were still in there. But anyway, I almost immediately went into a relationship with my now wife. So I think that was something that was a little bit different too, because you guys were living together. Yeah. Like, and so, and you're going out more, go to that wasn't really what I was doing very often. So like that was part of it as well, where, I think you guys were sort of doing different things than I was. And so it was like, oh, they're not, they're not going to want to hang out with me or whatever.
Different lifestyles.
Yeah, at that point. But so again, I put a lot of that on me, and I've really tried to in the last few years kind of just be a little bit more aware of who I am and how that has kind of impacted my life, and so I'm trying to be more.
Yeah, it's always interesting when because I know that I've like I said been that like, oh, why doesn't anybody call me or whatever to do anything, which is whatever, But when people have called me to do stuff, I'm like legitimately busy. It's
yeah.
You guys have the worst timing in the world. It's like, yeah, come on up. It's like, I've got something this one weekend.
Yeah, well, and that's how I feel like it was. It was always like, too. It's like, I can't, sorry, or, whatever. And then obviously the longer it goes, the harder it is to do stuff. But
it's such a weird balance, especially as we all get older and have families and are doing our own things. Like, I've always been one to, like, try to plan things way out sometimes. Like, I used to be just a spontaneous Friday night, hey, do you guys want to do something? And then I'd get shut down because, now I've got plans or whatever. So I was like, all right, next month on whatever date, do you want to, oh, that's too far out. I can't make plans.
That's my way of doing stuff.
Yeah, it's like.
It's funny you say that, though, because, Andrew and I are always talking about how you're, like, pretty last second, hey, do you want to do that? Like, I mean, you are, that's how we see you. So like, it is, it's kind of funny, but.
Yeah, I try to hold off on it. I don't really plan anything now. I'm just kind of doing whatever I want to do in this little kingdom. Yeah.
and we're also in that stage right now where like, we've got the kids that are in 8 million activities. Yeah. So like, that just takes up so much of our time on weekdays and on weekends. And so I love doing those things. I don't want to rush through. Like, I got to see Maddie play a soccer game, and it was her first soccer game in years, and it was really fun and exciting to go see that. And I love seeing Rowan play and stuff. I do look forward to getting to a stage where they're like, Maddie's starting to get more independent, going off and doing things with friends. Rowan will get there soon, and it's going to be like, oh, so then I will hopefully have more time for, hey, that spur of the moment, do you want to go do whatever? Yes, I do, kind of thing. So.
But. Yeah. So how is I know you had mentioned her playing soccer before, like whether she was getting better.
To be going well. Like she had her first game. I missed almost the entire game. I had like an appointment, so I just couldn't go. I saw like the last 5 minutes, and I didn't even see her touch the ball. Yeah. She claims she did, but she did get a couple handballs because they kicked it at her, and she went like this to block it. I didn't see that. That was her telling me about it. But she survived the first game. She said she felt like, because I said, did you feel comfortable playing? Did you feel like you were kind of out of your element or over your head a little bit? And she said, no, I think it was fine. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's good. And what I told her was, I think I'm very impressed that she did that, because there's no way if I hadn't played a sport up until 8th grade and I knew everybody else had been playing it for all those years that I would go try to join the team. I would have never put myself out there like that. So that's good. And she's a lot like me in a lot of ways. And that's always, whether it's me projecting on her or not, that's always been my biggest fear, is I want her to feel more connected socially than I did. And So I'm glad that she's kind of hit that spot. So yeah, it's going really well so far.
That's
it's a good
awesome.
experience. Yep.
Have you watched Shaolin Soccer with her?
Have I watched what?
Shaolin Soccer.
I do not know what Shaolin Soccer.
Check out Shaolin Soccer and watch
Okay.
it with her. It's a great movie.
Oh, I need to watch his Ted Lasso with her. I think she'd appreciate that.
I started watching that with Candy.
Not your thing.
I mean, it wasn't. I don't even remember it. Like, it was earlier this year. We watched the first couple episodes, I think, and just didn't stand out to me.
What was good? There definitely during those last couple of years when there was like the pandemic and friggin' political stuff, like. So as somebody with anxiety, that just exacerbated. I think everybody had some anxiety with all that stuff, and so for me, I was pretty stressed. And like that kind of show, or like Schitt's Creek, it's that sort of like feel good comedy kind of thing. And so like that was sort of like something that on the weekends I just look forward to, like, oh, I can like laugh and feel good and like, yeah. So it was, I certainly like lots of different types of comedy, but that one I feel like was about people and people who care about each other and that sort of thing. So that was definitely served a purpose, I think.
Maybe that's what it is. Like, I don't think I like feel-good comedies like that.
Yeah,
It's just not my cup of tea, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that I don't like them. It's like I'm not.
But what are sitcoms? Do you like sitcoms? Like The Office?
I do.
Did you like The Office?
I did like The Office.
Like, how much did you like The Office? Like, I've seen The Office 3 times through. Are you that kind of person?
No.
No, you're like, if it's on, I'll watch an episode. Did you ever watch the whole thing?
I watched the whole thing.
You did watch the whole
way
thing.
through.
Okay.
But I'm not like that really with any show, like where I can do repeat watches.
Yeah. What about like Parks and Rec?
I like Parks and Rec. I like that kind of.
So that was okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch Schitt's Creek?
I've seen parts of it just because Candy watched it.
Schitt's Creek you could get through the first season, and then it's really.
From what I saw, it was decent. Like it's nothing like I said, she was watching it, so I'd be in the.
But that was the same kind of thing. It was about these people that deep down really cared about each other, and I guess The Office has a little bit of that too in the later seasons. But like, those were much more driven over those relationships with people. So anyway. But,
all right, let's go on to question 2.
All right, that was actually a lot of discussion after
question
question
1.
Yeah.
All right. Now, what are you drinking? And 3 words to describe it. You're not drinking anything. But...
Generally, I'm drinking water, and the only thing I drink is water. HBO Max.
Oh.
Yeah, I that's one of the things I stopped was drinking alcohol. Not because I'm like
completely.
Not because I'm a teetotaler or anything. I just it physically doesn't do well with me. So I drink. I'll drink wine every once in a while. I'll drink like I've been drinking some hard seltzers, which are fine. They're not like, it's not like I love them, but I'll drink them. And I do it more to be like social and stuff. And I know my wife really enjoys like having an afternoon cocktail or having some wine with dinner or whatever. So I try to drink to be, kind of social with her.
Yeah.
And I don't want her to lose out on that because, drinking wine by yourself is not quite as much fun.
I got no problem with it.
Yeah. But I do drink occasionally, but I don't drink very often or very much at a time.
Yeah, I'm a big water guy myself.
Yep.
What I'm drinking now, actually.
I drink a lot of tea, actually.
What kind of tea do you like?
Any kind of tea. I don't usually go for like the fruity kind of thing. So mostly I do like an Irish breakfast or something strong. I really like strong teas. I like green tea.
Do you have so you like the strong teas? Have you had Scottish breakfast?
No, I don't think so.
Stronger than
I've had English breakfast and Irish breakfast. I'll have to look for Scottish breakfast.
I like that because I like stronger teas too. And I stumbled across Scottish breakfast.
I'll have to try that.
It's like, this is really good. Yeah. What is this, Scottish breakfast?
I can't drink coffee. I enjoy coffee a lot. I used to love coffee, but I can't do that either. Hence, same things with the alcohol.
Yeah.
But I started drinking tea. I drink like multiple mugs a day now.
Yeah.
It's like, really enjoy it.
I've tried to wean myself off coffee.
Yeah.
And I did for a long while.
And
but
then you went back to it.
Now I'm like, I'll drink 1 cup in the morning and then maybe in the afternoon. But where are you living now? Where have you lived before?
I live in Portland, Maine, about 5 minutes away from where we are right now. And I grew up in Westbrook, Maine, which is about 5 minutes away from where we are. Well, we are in Westbrook, Maine, but my house was about 5 minutes away from where we are now. So I live about 10 minutes away from where I grew up.
Yeah.
And I have no problem with that. I've never really felt a strong desire to leave. I know we're sort of opposites in that way. I feel like you've been half out the door for a long while, but then, you know, you're also, I feel like, sort of committed to Westbrook in some ways as well. And, you know, you figure you're part of the community. You've been trying to be a good part of the community, so that's good. But yeah, I've, you know, some people I think have a strong desire to go live in a big city, or I think Portland's great in that there's always something to do. There's good restaurants. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything being there. I mean, as I've gotten older, the winters are not quite as much fun, but I do appreciate the change of seasons, and you know, I'd miss fall, or I definitely could see the appeal as I get older of like the snowbird kind of thing. Like, I'm gonna go somewhere warm and for the winter, but I want to be here for the fall because it's my favorite time of year. And
so do you see yourself then like getting that summer or that winter place?
Well, Andrew and I are both teachers, so financially, no, I don't. But I know my in-laws have a home in Florida, and I think, you know, they say at some point that may become our place that we may share with Andrea. So possibly there may be some way, you know, there's a lot of unanswered questions there as far as what will happen with that. But I think if the opportunity presents itself, we would like to do something like that.
Yeah.
Of course, in, you know, 15, 20 years when we are at that stage, who knows? Florida could be underwater. So we'll see. But yeah, I think having a warmer climate in the winter might be kind of nice.
Yeah. So that's.
Do you still see yourself? I mean, even fairly recently, I feel like I've heard about you talking about going somewhere else someday.
You know, it's we've talked about moving, but I don't know if I want to at this point, or if even Candy wants to at this point. We haven't talked about it for the past couple of years.
Do you feel more satisfied with living in Westbrook, Maine than you used to, or happier about living in Westbrook, Maine?
There's nothing in Westbrook, Maine that makes me cringe. Well, nothing that makes me like want to leave. Like there's nothing pushing me out. There's certainly nothing that keeps me here other than the fact that I have a house here. Yeah. And I have family here. I do think though, one of the reasons why I don't want to leave, or at least I don't want to get rid of the house at least, is because I've been thinking a little bit more and more about family and all that, and I think it'd be great for the boys to have. I mean, this is the only place that they've lived. Yeah. And I'd love it if they could grow up here and then have this be a place that they can come back to as they're adults, or take it on, like, you know, get inherited, whatever. And that was like one of the questions I was going to ask you, like you were talking about still living in the area and your in-laws and stuff. I know personally, just recently, as I get older and my relatives get older and stuff, I start thinking about, oh geez, like there's a lot of things that are going to be happening around, and how will those things be handled and stuff. It's just interesting to like, because you don't know.
Right. Well, are you talking about things like parents getting older and needing to care for that, like that kind of stuff? Yeah. And that's a huge thing. I mean, I've seen with both my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, who recently passed away this summer, and then my great aunt on my mom's side, who is sort of like a grandmother to me. In both cases, my parents did a ton of taking care of them, running errands for them, taking them to appointments, you know, all that stuff. And so, you know, like that's probably going to fall on, you know, Andrea and I someday to do for my parents, and or my sister is in the area, so she could help out some. But like, you know, so I think about that a lot now too, having seen them go through that and how much time and effort and work that was, and also just thinking about, like, you know, as my parents get older too, you know, wanting to spend time with them, and more for them too. Like, you know, I'm sure my dad would love to spend more time with me, and my mom would love to spend more time with me, and I feel like I would definitely feel a little guilty if I was like, all right, and we're heading out to wherever. Right. See ya, you know. So yeah, there's so much that plays into all of that. we did consider for a while going to New York, more upstate New York. That's where Andrea's family's from. Just the houses and stuff are like so much cheaper there. I
in
think,
New York?
Oh yeah, like in upstate, like
Okay,
where they're from, in the Utica area. Like, I mean, Andrea's brother, his first house was like $100,000 less than our house, and it was a little bit smaller than ours, and ours isn't very big. But then they just bought a new house for, like, you know, our house. I think when we this summer with the market going crazy was worth, I think at one point on Zillow, like $450,000, which is absolutely insane because it's not by any means a big house or nice house. But anyway, but like, they bought their house for a couple $100,000, like less than that, and it's much nicer than ours. You know what I mean? So like, it's we considered going there. It's a lovely area. It's kind of like Maine in that it's pretty quiet. There's not a lot of crime. It's probably even more rural than where we are right now, and like quieter. So we thought about it, but then we have our jobs. We love working together in the same school, and leaving my family, I felt like would have been kind of hard. So
I think it's interesting you talk about New York and the prices there. I was just talking to another friend of mine, and one of his neighbors moved up from New York or something. And they were talking about the prices of, like, in New York being so high, so they had to move here. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, are you talking about like in the city area?
Well,
because I can't imagine that the country is cheaper or is more expensive than Maine.
Well, and the crazy thing is too, so like the houses in their area are cheap, yet the pay is so much higher than what we have in Maine. So it's like,
it's a win-win.
It's a win-win. So again, we did consider it, but ultimately we love where we are. It's like I said, I think it's kind of the right size for us. It's not too big, it's not too small, and and I'm somebody that also likes things that I know and are familiar with, and certainly would be uncomfortable going to some place and having to start find a new job and all that.
It's kind of difficult too as you're older. To kind of settle, but I don't know. It might be easier as an adult because you got.
So that's why I think it'll be like a snowbird kind of like as we're older, maybe retiring somewhere for part of the year. Plus now, and I'm sure this may be some of your thinking too, but the kids, and I don't want to be in a situation where I never see my kids and their families when I'm older. I'd like to be able to, visit them at least, within driving distance or something, and can see them several times a year. So I don't want them to be, and some of that's out of my control, right? If Maddie wants to move to San Diego, she's going to move to San Diego, and I'm not going to stop her. It's, her life. She's going to do what she wants to do. But, if they end up settling in Portland, I'm probably going to want to be somewhere near this area. If they're both spread throughout the country, well, then that makes it easier to say, all right, screw it, we're going wherever.
You left first.
Well, yeah, it's what it is. But
well, Caitlin's out in...
Well, right, England, that's a whole other thing, Yeah.
All right, what are you doing for work? And if you could do anything else, what would it be, Pat?
This is actually a pretty interesting question because it's something I think about constantly for two reasons. One, because like probably most people, there are many times where I'm like, I need to change my job. I can't take this anymore. Teaching during the school year is like super duper stressful. And I honestly don't know what I would do because I'm not I have an English degree and I have a degree in teaching. So I'm not sure what else would go along with that. But honestly, I mean, and we may have talked about this before too, but part of the reason I ended up in teaching was because I liked working with kids and it was the path of least resistance.
Okay.
Like I was an English major because I was pretty good at reading in books and writing reports. And my sister was an English major. She became a teacher after doing like a 1-year program. So I became a teacher after doing a 1-year program just because it was like, well, she did it, I can do it. And so I did it, and I got to continue working with kids, which was fun. But I don't know, like the idea of doing something else gives me a lot of things, because it's just like, I don't know, like I think I would have enjoyed being, I think something with computers possibly, computer programming or IT kind of stuff, I think I would have liked. But part of that is because I also like the idea of jobs that I don't have to have as much social interaction. Like if I can just sit there and do that, maybe I'd like that. But I don't know. I enjoy those kind of things. I think.
So that surprises me. Not so much in like the way you just described it, like
Yeah.
because you would be less interactive with other people. Like, but I'm kind of curious now, how you feel about technology in general, like with your education, and
Yeah.
especially during COVID, where you were forced to do work with technology a little bit more with teaching. Like, how
Yeah.
do you
So it depends. Like I love things like I do tons of stuff with Excel spreadsheets. Like I love that kind of thing, and like I can do something, focus on something, and do it over and over and over again until it works.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's why I said something like programming, where it's like I'm gonna try it. Nope, it's not working the way and redoing that language, the
Right.
language until I think I could do that stuff all day. I enjoy those kind of things. I am interested in the technology side of education. I just took a grad class on it this summer. I don't feel like I implement that as much as I would like, but a lot of that comes down to just not having the time. I feel like I never have time to kind of pursue a lot of things that interest me and that I like. What I do have for time, I essentially spend reading or hanging out with my family.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think I don't do as much with those things as I could, but I think if I had more time or was focused more in that area, I would be really interested into it. The other thing I like things like ideally, if I could pick anything, it'd be like fantasy football. Like it's one of those guys that works for a fantasy football website or something like that. I think would be really really cool. But I don't know what I'd do. Like I honestly I think about it all the time, and it just anything I can think of I get like pretty like that would I don't know if I could do that. That'd be
Like a firefighter.
No, that probably would not work.
Yeah. Do you do spreadsheets and stuff for your fantasy football?
I have done that, yeah, and I like the most recent thing I designed last winter was one to do all the placement at our school, where it would like copy information from different places and basically kind of automate the process. Once people would put information here, it would then distribute it out in a lot of different ways and stuff. And I don't have a lot of opportunities to use spreadsheets and stuff in my job. We do it sometimes for like managing data and things like that, but I feel like if I was in a job where that was a huge part of it, then I would really enjoy doing that kind of stuff. I could have seen, like, I think web design would have been really cool, although I'm not super artistic, but I love, like, any of that stuff I enjoy. I don't do it.
Well, we're going to have a huge guest load, so if you want to be in charge of the spreadsheets.
Did you see the part where I don't have time to do much of anything? So, yeah. What would you do? Oh, this is not me interviewing you. I have to interview you. I'd be interested to hear. I'm gonna have to watch your.
It's on October 25th.
I'll have to watch it to see how you answer all these questions.
All right. Share a high point in your life, something you were personally proud of. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put in caveat on this question.
Okay.
Because it was said to me when she had sent it over, like, try not to do like your kids as an answer.
Yeah. No, yeah. High point in my life, something I am proud of. That's hard.
It's a tough one, especially like when you have like. Because I'm the same way, like you have that imposter syndrome or whatever, like trying to find that self-appreciation.
Right.
What?
It's almost one, like, I'm sure if you asked other people, they'd say, oh, when you did that was really awesome. But to me, like, I have a hard time thinking about those things. I don't know. One time I worked as a camp counselor, and we used to do color wars, which was a lot of fun. Did you do color wars when you worked at that camp?
Something similar.
Yeah. So we would do color wars, and as somebody who is always way too competitive with things, I was like really into it, probably more so than it should have been.
Well, hold on, before let's set it up for the audience who doesn't know what color wars are.
So we divide the camp into two teams, and there was always a theme. So it could be, I think it was one year was Sesame Street versus the Muppets or something like that. And so the counselors would get split up as well, and so all week long there'd be different challenges and battles and things like that. And so I would get really into it, and all the counselors oftentimes did. And like one of the events we had was a counselor only event, and it was you had socks on, and so the two teams would battle trying to rip the socks off the other team, and whoever off the feet, and whichever team was left with people with socks on would win. And like it was like gladiators fighting. Like there were people like seriously broken fingers, broken like. Every year there was something, like, got to the point where by the time I ended working at this camp, they didn't allow us to do it anymore, because, like, we would be, like, seriously, and I've never been, like, a big, strong guy or anything, but I kicked ass at it, because I was so competitive that I was just, like, and it wasn't, like, a gym class hero kind of situation where nobody else was trying, and I was, like, we were flat out, like, absolutely destroying each other, and it was great. But I had so much fun doing that. But anyway, one year... it came down, so one thing you had to do each time at the end of the day is you had to do a song and a formation and a cheer, I think. And so that was how you ended every day during the week, and you got points. And so on the last week, it came down to my team was losing, and we knew it was going to come down to like the big song event. And so I went home that night, and I wrote what ended up being an absolutely kick-ass song. And we were losing going into it. We sang my song, and we won.
That's awesome.
And I was very proud of that moment. So,
so was this a parody song?
It was a parody song. It was Willy Wonka versus Inspector Gadget, and then we were Willy Wonka, and the song was to Build Up Buttercup. Is that the name of the song? I don't know what the song is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like, why did you hatch it, Inspector Gadget, this wicked plan, and it goes on. I actually still know all the words. So it was like a great moment, which actually brings me to another one of my favorite moments, which is when we did Greek Week, and we did, didn't we do that song? Yeah, Buttercup.
Yeah.
That was an amazing...
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
We sang that, and what was the other one?
Well, we did that one year, and another year we did The Gambler and Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Yeah, but we did two songs.
We did two songs that year too?
Yeah, it was Build Me Up Buttercup and then another song.
I don't know. I just remember going on stage. We were the guys from the restroom, the rest stop, with our like underwear and not much else on.
It was good times. Speaking of songs, this is just gonna stray out. Did you hear about Coolio?
Yes. Yeah. The passing of Coolio.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
So those are your proudest moments.
No, but they are moments that
I
still think about and enjoy and felt good in the moment. I'm sure that I have other ones. I'm pretty proud of.
I feel bad in saying it that way. That's not what I...
No, I mean, there are some things like with work that I'm pretty proud of. Like I worked my way up to an administrator at the school. I chose not to stay in that role, but like I feel like I did some okay things in that situation. But
that's awesome.
And in general, I think I'm proud of. I don't know. I'm just proud of where I am in life. Like I feel like. I try to treat people pretty well. I think I'm a pretty good guy. I think, I have raised a family and successfully and all that. So I don't know. That's what I take a lot of pride in. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
You can grow a killer stash.
Working on it. Andrea did say she thought she likes the handlebars better than like the curled. I don't want to curl, but I could see like the
kind of like a wave.
Like the big kind of one that goes out a little bit, but not like. I don't want to curl it up.
But if you go out a little bit, are you still going to keep like the?
Yeah, I don't know. Because I could do that and shave everything off, and then as it grows back in, just go back to. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. I like the handlebar.
I could do the handlebar with it like really like long here too. We'll see.
Get it really grown out, then braid it going straight down.
There we go. I could do that.
Share a challenge in your life you've overcome.
Well, I think I've already shared a lot of that, and whether it's my being really kind of introverted or having that imposter syndrome or whatever. And then that kind of, I think what's at the root of a lot of that was anxiety. And you and I have talked a little bit about this, but like that is what really kind of came to a head a few years ago for me was, and it's sort of that realization of like, oh, I think a lot of these things stem from some issues around anxiety that, and when I look back too, like I see it, like I've always been a bit more of a rule follower than, you know, people. I think I was probably the one when we were going out at night where it was sort of like, you know, well, I want to make sure that we have a DD and we, you know, like, you know, I'm trying not to put myself in really too bad of a situation. And
except for that one time.
Yeah. But like, you know, I just, and then also, you know, knowing I have a big family history of some of those things. And so like a lot of that kind of built up until like, you know, I kind of got, it started impacting my life more and more and more. And so just coming to terms with that and being like, okay, I need to make some changes. Like it was impacting my health. It was impacting my relationships with my family. Not that it was like ever strained or anything like that, but like my patience for the girls was a lot. When I'm feeling stressed and anxious about something, I don't have as much patience for what's going on with them, and so I'd be kind of short or get angry, you know, quicker. And with Andrea, it was more like dealing with that and always having to kind of be dealing with me being worried about something or stressed about something. And so like one of the things that would drive me crazy is something would happen. And my reaction when something bad happens, like let's say the fence behind my house falls down, it's, oh my goodness, how are we going to fix that? And how much is it going to cost? And what if the dog gets out? You know, it's like I immediately go up here where she's like, not a big deal. And so then like my thing was, you're making me feel crazy because you're not worked up about it, but I'm not, like this is something I should be like worried. So like that's like the only thing that ever we kind of butted heads about with it. And it wasn't like even a serious thing, but anyway, so it was just impacting me a lot of different ways. And so it was, okay, we need to make some changes. I'm going to stop being an administrator. I'm going to go back to the job I had because that was something that I have a lot more control over the job I have now. Whereas with that, I love parts of that job are great, but there was also like, I don't know what situation I'm going to deal with today.
Right.
And so I could handle those situations, but not knowing what it was going to be caused me a lot of stress. Not being able to fix every situation caused me a lot of stress. And so, like, you know, I started going through different things like medications and things like that, which I can't take a lot of medications because they basically make me stoned. Like I was walking around like not talking because I was just so like, you know, kind of stoned or withdrawn. Like it literally felt like I was high a lot of the times. And so that didn't work. So I would kind of go off and on those for years. And then I saw a therapist for a while. It was okay. Like I think therapy's great, but I didn't feel like it was making a huge impact. And so I kind of stopped that. And so eventually what it ended up being was I went back to my other job, made some serious changes to my diet, which took care of a lot of helped to take care of some of the physical stuff I was dealing with, a lot of stomach issues and things like that. And then exercise, I think, has helped. And just, I am back on, I found a medication that helps. And just kind of coming to terms and being more aware of it. So like when I start to spiral, now I'm like, okay, I know what this is. You know, I can, you know, I can get past that. Because a lot of times I would walk around being stressed, but having no idea what I was anxious. Like I'd be physically like anxious, like, but not knowing what it was. It was just being anxious to be anxious, kind of, you know what I mean? And so now occasionally I'll get myself there and I'll just be like, oh, nope, it's just, you know, nothing's wrong. It's just, you know, this situation and that sort of thing. So that's helped a lot too, just being more aware of what's going on with me.
That's really good.
So
that's a strong thing to be able to have, is to be in touch with your body and know, you know, what you're feeling and where that's coming from versus, like you said, just what's going on.
And the thing is too, like being consistent. So like take meds consistently, because if I don't, then I'll start to be like, oh, I'm starting to get worried, and then I'll feel like, wait, you haven't been taking your meds regularly. I need to do that. Exercise and stick to my diet, because if I don't stick to my diet, I start to physically not feel well, and that just gives me a lot of anxiety about, am I going to be able to go do this, or is my stomach going to be killing me? And so just taking care of myself in a lot of different ways has helped quite a bit. And so I feel like I'm in a much better place than I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, like I said, part of that was, connecting with you, and, I have seen like Vinny a few times. I'd like to see him more, but like, at least starting to that process of trying to put myself out there a little bit more and stuff is part of.
It's his birthday today.
Is it?
Yeah.
If I went on Facebook, I'd probably know that.
Oh.
Do you know? You probably know it anyway. I don't know anybody's birthday.
No, I get I think he's on my contacts, but I did see it on
my mom's birthday is Saturday, and I still don't I know her birthday is sometime in October or November. I know my sister's is October. I still don't know, and I've known them for 45 years, or 42 years. I'm aging myself a little.
I learned.
I know your birthday.
When?
February 21st, right?
Yours is February 9th?
10th.
10th. Yeah, I think it was one of the two.
I only know yours because it's close to mine.
Yeah, that's the same way as yours.
Yep.
But not even that well, apparently.
You're close. You're my day.
There's a lot of February birthdays that I know.
Yeah.
But it's probably just because of the fact that it's real close.
Yeah.
Speaking of Vinny's birthday, apparently he went to Float today, which I still want to go to. Have you heard of that place?
Oh, that's like the place where it's like, you float.
Yeah. I learned, though, that if you pee in there, it's cost you $1,000. Like,
how do they tell? Is there like some way they...
I'm guessing there's got to be some sort of dye or something.
So definitely use the bathroom. So are you going to be able to do that? Because you keep talking about how you have the bladder of a 90-year-old man.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to like really go beforehand.
You're going to have to like not drink for 24 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
Just going completely dehydrated. I cannot afford
That's
$1,000.
interesting. I that's one of those things where it's like, I mean, I guess that could be kind of relaxing and feel really good. Like everybody I know that's done it has said it's amazing, but I've never also at the same time not felt the urge to go pay money to go do it.
Yeah, it sounds fun. I really would like to do it. I've only heard one horror story about it.
Yeah.
I guess the person got like the salt in their eyes immediately getting in there, so spent the whole time just trying to rub out their eyes, which gotta suck. Like.
So one of the things that I would like to see us do sometimes the podcast is, and we talked about this, is do like things and then talk about it. Like, so when we went curling, like that would be a perfect example of like, we went curling.
Yeah.
What was our experience like? So yeah, like something like that, like let's go float and then be like, what did you think of it? What did, and talk about it, I think would be really, basically I want to go on like dates with you.
Yeah.
And then come back and talk about
curling season's
but
here,
I also like the idea of like finding like different kind of like, I'll go do literally, if somebody's like, you should try this, I'll be like, all right, cool, let's go do it.
Yeah.
Then I can see my wife being like, so you're going to spend money, go spend another day with Andre.
Yeah.
So it'd be a little bit of a tough sell, but...
I have a feeling that conversation wouldn't go well with Candy either.
So we wouldn't be able to do it like every week, but maybe every once in a while.
We've got a list of things to do, like on a whiteboard in our bedroom.
You're going to start doing it with me instead?
It's like, hey, you want to go to Muse?
Oh, I'm already doing that with Pat. I'd go to Muse.
Yeah. Actually,
how about this? Let's take both of our wives.
Ooh, double
dates, and then we can talk about it.
That's a brilliant
idea. And maybe we can get them on the show, which is probably not going to happen.
Probably not, but it's a brilliant idea.
Who do you think we could get on first? Andrea?
Easily Andrea. That's not even a question.
Candy's probably a little more set in her.
Actually, technically, Andrea's been on the show.
Has she?
In the background.
Oh, okay.
On, like one of the first ones, I believe.
Well, maybe we'll get her on with the medium dude.
Yeah. Maybe she can get in touch with the pet medium and we can have a double guest.
I do like the double date idea though, because I think it's a win-win. Like it gives us something for the podcast. They get to do stuff with us that they want to do.
Yeah,
I think we could sell them on that.
We'll have to pick a weekend next couple weeks.
Although I will do anything, and I think the weirder the better it would be for the podcast. So I don't know how, what kind of things could we get them to?
Yeah, I don't think Candy likes.
I'm not talking anything like too crazy, but like.
Yeah, no. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll get some ideas.
I want to go seek war when they come to me. Like something like that.
I'm pretty sure Candy's not going to be down for that. I will though. So.
Yeah.
Ooh, share something unexpected about you. Share something unexpected about you, or that few people know about you.
Jeez. See, this is like those icebreaker games where it's like two truths and a lie, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I never have anything to like. I'm a pretty boring person, I think.
I think you got some interesting stuff about you.
I don't think so. Honestly, I think I'm pretty
vanilla.
pretty boring. Yeah.
Let's see. Well, I've always considered you a writer, but you denied it last time.
I don't. I mean, I haven't done any writing in a long. I always think you're much more of a writer than I am. Like you're much more of a creative person, I think, than I am. I think if somebody gave me like a topic, or like I think I'd be good in a situation where it's like part of a writing team. I think I would do well. I think individually, I don't know. I've always wanted to try it. Like I love the idea of like writing a children's book or something like that. Or I don't have much interest in writing like a novel unless it was like a children's novel. But I don't know, writing like a screenplay or a show or something like that. I think would be kind of cool.
I would love to write a screenplay or a show. I don't want to. My big thing is with anything is being put in the format. So like when I think about writing a screenplay or a show, I immediately just like this ultimate block comes up. Oh, I've got to put it in this format. Which you don't have to do necessarily, but something in my head says that. So let's do that, and then you can do the writing, like the technical, actual writing in the format.
You can just help come up with the ideas.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess I'm, like I said, I'm pretty.
You play the triangle.
Not well though. Not well. I have no musical ability.
Well, there's the running thing for you. I think typically, as something that most people don't know about you or wouldn't expect out of you. Like, I probably wouldn't meet you on the street and think you're not even interested in a 5K. Like you just want the half marathon.
Right. Marathon. Yes. But see that I wouldn't say that's something that's more of a newer thing. So like I ran the half marathon back when I was 30, I want to say. And then because I was like at 30 I want to be in better shape than I was 20, and I ran a half marathon. And then I think I ran maybe 2 or 3 races since then, and then I'm like, all right, now I'm going to run the half marathon again now. So it's not like it's been a consistent part of who I am. It's more of like a new thing. Honestly, I'm like pretty simple person who likes to hang out at home, or not even at home. Like my way of hanging out is like sitting around a fire, campfire, going to like a bar and hanging out and watching a game or whatever. Like I'm not like, I just take joy in those things. I like to read. I like to. That's it. Yeah. Don't do a lot. There's not a lot like hidden there.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yep.
If you had a theme song, I think you'll like this one. Oh, actually, we skipped one. Actually, we'll just do one more. So, which one do you want? Do you want the one we skipped or the theme song one?
Well, I don't know what the other one is.
I know. So now you get to decide. Do you really want to answer the theme song one?
I'll do the one we skipped. I'll come back to the theme song one another day. I can think about it.
Something you wish you had more time for.
Oh, well, there you go. I wish I had more time. I don't know. I wish I had more time to hang out with people like you and do stuff. I think would be a big one. Because I'd like to get out and do, like, I'd love to go to Wessie's sometime. I'd love to go, there's like a lot of that kind of socializing type stuff that I think I would like to do. Don't have a lot of time for it. I have gotten really into reading again after not doing a lot of that. And so one of my big things is like, I feel like I never have enough time to read. It's something I really enjoy. And there's like so many different things. Every time I finish something, I'm like, there's like 5 more books I want to read, and like I want to read like different kind of stuff too. So like, I don't know. I wish I had more time to do that. I wish I had. I don't know.
It's one of those questions where it's like everything.
Well, I mean, one of the biggest things is I want to have more time to like spend time with people that I enjoy spending time with. Yeah. Which is not to say that my family, who I spend most of my time with, I don't. But like, I always wish I had more time to hang out with my wife, because she makes me laugh harder than anybody I know. Right now, during the school year, it's like Friday night, Saturday night. And then we're together more than any other couple in the world. But like not hanging out, like stress free, just having a good time.
Right.
So like it's that kind of stuff that I wish I had more time for. You know, it'd be cool to travel more and see some cool things. But
You like travel?
travel stresses me out, but like I do enjoy. I like what I really enjoy is going to like historical stuff. I like I'd love to go down to Gettysburg and check that out. I'd love to go to some of the European stuff, like Europe, so to like check out some of the history there.
Yeah.
I think that kind of stuff is.
Have you been, other than Canada, have you been out of country?
Just to like resorts and stuff
Okay.
like that, which I absolutely love that kind of travel too.
Yeah.
Like go sit on a beach, read all day, then have tons of food that's made for you, and have all the free drinks that you've already paid for, but that you can.
So great.
Yeah, that's my kind of vacation. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I love resorts. I've been to a couple of them.
Yeah.
And then we went on the cruise, which was like a resort on the sea. It's so funny. Like they have on the cruise we went on. They had the drink package that you could buy, which was X amount of drinks, or you could get like the unlimited drink package.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it, I was like, yeah, there's no way in hell that I'm not gonna.
Yeah, you go with unlimited. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I did a cruise once, and it was with Justin and Jared and some of Jill's friends, and that was a very interesting. I don't know how much you heard about that cruise.
I didn't hear anything about that cruise.
I'll tell you sometime off camera. It was very, very interesting. We had a lot of fun, but it was very interesting as well. And I am definitely, if I was like, I know some people love cruises. I'm definitely like resort. If I have to spend my money, I'm going to resort, and I don't even care about doing excursions or anything. Like, I am cool chilling at the resort and doing. What I'd really love to do is go to a resort with like other couples, that like friends of ours, and we can all just like chill at the pool, chill at the beach, meet up for dinner. You know, like do whatever and socialize. I think would be a lot of fun.
I've always wanted to go to hedonism too.
Yes, I know you have. I know you have. That's actually one of the things I always think about when I think about you is.
Oh, so we're gonna go. That's gonna be one of those.
Well, we said for the podcast.
It's for the
I'm
podcast.
sure the wives would be totally on board with us. So yeah, Andre and I are gonna take off the hedonism for a week. No big deal.
No big deal.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
All right, on that.
Yeah, we could probably write a good like movie about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's for the material.
On that note.
Well, thanks for joining. We didn't, beforehand, I think the last time we had that kind of small guideline, and we're like, all right, we're going to do the plugs first or whatever. And I don't think $1,000,000fist.com.
And I still got nothing.
Yeah. And, and Movement Mentality. I'll go start plugging that one too.
Yep.
Check out that YouTube channel. There's a link someplace. Alrighty.
All right. How are we doing time? Oh, perfect timing. Good.
Ooh, how do I stop this now? Do I have to stop it from OBS?
People are going to watch this and be like, what's with the white box?